Hey, it's Craig from Eloquo. Got a short learning video here on setting the language tags for your accessible PDF. This is all about if you've got an English document and you've got a second language in there. Maybe it's French, maybe it's Spanish, and you want to make sure that the screen reader reads those French or Spanish parts properly. This is how you tag your document so that the screen reader will execute the language variants the way it's supposed to be. So hopefully you take a few minutes, watch the video, learn something. Thank you.
Now, we're going to move on to some special cases on how to tag when you have dual language. In some cases, you might have dual language in a certain document. Okay. An example of this is, well, the document that we're having here. We have general caracteristic general. So this is a document that has two languages. It can be any two languages or even three. Now, in accessibility, you want to avoid also having multiple languages for the same document. You need to specify just one, because we're going to see later on that we need to specify this in the properties or the identification of the document itself. However, in some cases, you might need a technical term. Well, we can specify in the tags that a certain part or a certain element has a different name or using a different language. But it doesn't mean that assistive technologies or screen reader will be able to read it properly, because you have to assume that the users have a dual language screen reader, which is not always the case. Now, if they don't have it, it will be read with the accent. So, for example, with the English accent. However, if they have a French version and if their screen reader can switch languages, it will read it properly. So how do we work with something like this? I'm going to open my tags panel. This is an untagged document, so I'm going to create a new document tag. And in the document tag, I'm going to create my new H1. So I'm going to create a new tag for my heading level 1. Of course, I need to nest the H1 inside the document. And then I can select general characteristics and then add this one to my selection. Now, I'm not going to do all the rest. I'm just going to show you how to do both languages. So I have the general characteristic, and this one is in French. So in order to solve this kind of issue, we're going to add a span, S-P-A-N. Okay, so inside the heading level 1, I'm going to right-click on the text in the tags panel. I'm going to create a new tag, and this tag is a span. Now I highlight the span, I highlight the French word, I right-click on the span, and I choose Create Tag from Selection. So now I have this French part integrated in the span tag. So to change the language, you can right-click on the span, go to the properties, and in the properties, in the tag properties, you have the language. Usually it's blank. It's blank because it's taking the language of the document itself. So I'm going to click on the drop-down of the language, and I'm going to choose French. Here we go, and I'm going to close it. Now what's going to happen, if a screen reader is able to change language, if it reads French, it's going to read this text in English and this one in French.